U.S. President Donald Trump accused social media companies of interfering in the upcoming congressional elections without appearing to offer any evidence in an interview published on Wednesday ahead of the congressional testimonies from top social media executives. Now, he told the Daily Caller in an interview conducted on Tuesday, "I think they already have interfered in the November 6th elections." Of course, this is another accusation that has been offered with absolutely no evidence whatsoever. Now, he completely decries political bias against conservatives on social media companies and search engines. In other words, when people don't like you because of the things that you do that are harmful to people, it's then therefore a form of bias, especially if that's reflected by the media. Now, this is largely laughable when we consider how much Donald Trump has gotten away with in terms of imperialist conquest that the media has largely just completely ignored, or at least patted him on the back for. The true interference in the last election was that if you look at virtually all of those companies are super liberal companies in favor of Hillary Clinton. Now, of course, Google and other tech companies, particularly those in relation to social media, have denied having a political bias and say that they let their users say whatever it is they want. They allow anyone to politically advertise as much as they want, which is really strange considering that they have complained about the so-called Russian bots that interfered in the previous presidential election. Facebook Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg and Twitter Chief Executive Jack Dorsey are testifying. The executives are expected to defend their companies against what lawmakers see as a failure to combat foreign efforts to influence U.S. politics. Now, essentially what we're looking at here is Trump's version of the Russian bots. Essentially, once the Democrats had sabotaged themselves in their attempt to win the presidency of the United States, rather than acknowledging that they had put forward a bad political line that drove many people away and directly into the hands of Donald Trump and the Republican Party, they proceeded to blame these so-called Russian bots for interfering in the investigation. This, of course, is an accusation with little to no evidence whatsoever, and as was revealed by many of the congressional hearings that took place on the matter, many of these so-called Russian bot ads actually appeared after the election had taken place, and they comprised less than 1% of all political ads that had appeared at least on Facebook. So in other words, it was largely a baseless accusation that was used to cover up the bad politics of the Democratic Party. Now it appears that U.S. President Donald Trump is now doing the same thing, as he has continued to screw up the presidency of the United States, continued to alienate long-standing allies, to cause chaos in areas where there was relative peace and stability where things did not need to be bad, spit in the face of longtime allies. He's now looking to blame somebody else for his failings, as he has continued to ruin long-standing relationships. He's looking to shift the blame onto somebody else, and this is a big problem that we have with the cult of personality around Donald Trump. No matter what he does, no matter what he screws up, no matter what he goes back on, no matter how much he lies, his support base will literally believe anything he says, even if it's into the realm of complete and utter absurdity. The fact is, we have a capitalist class. I know it's hard for a lot of people to believe that in capitalism there's a class of people who own capital. This is particularly very difficult for people of the Trump persuasion to understand, and that they do not have an entirely united view on how things should be and how things should operate and how foreign trade and foreign relations should carry out. Of course, they all have a united interest in preserving capitalism, but they have different ideas on how it should be facilitated. For example, many of the companies that require steel coming from other countries, particularly Turkey, Canada, and other countries around the world, because it is cheaper than it would be to produce steel in the United States in order to keep their costs down, which is inevitably linked to the tendency of the rate of profit to fall, the theory that Marx put forward with over 100 years of data of the rates of profit falling, but totally isn't true because Thomas Piketty says so. But what we have here is essentially a lot of the capitalist class is turning against him because he's screwing everything up. Now, obviously, I don't support Hillary Clinton. I don't support the United States in general. In fact, I would be a better world if the United States just simply ceased to exist. But the fact is, Donald Trump is sitting here right now denying that he didn't do anything. This is essentially the great didn't do nothing moment for the presidency of Donald Trump. The man has caused complete and utter chaos through the entire political system of the United States due to his own complete and utter incompetence at being the president. And this now, claiming that there's interference in the election before it's even happened, is just his version of Russian bots. And this is what's going to happen. Essentially, he's putting his cards on the table. He's getting ready for losing the actual midterms and preparing to blame somebody else for his own failings. So, I mean, this is exactly what we're going to see. He's going to end up doing not very well at all, if not, the Republican Party being decimated as a result of their actions, and then turn around and blame somebody else for their own actions.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.